the legislature does not act to fix this problem, there'll be a revolution in this state. So I do believe that we will figure out a way. This has to be passed, reform has to be passed at the state level. But I do believe that they understand the urgency of this. This is in many ways, for an urban area like Indianapolis, this is almost a life and death matter. And no, I do not believe people will face anything like this, even on a smaller scale in 2008. No, I think they'll see their property tax bill for 2007 go down substantially when they eventually have to pay it from where it was when they first got those bills, substantially. And then on top of that, I think you'll see long-term reform that will make sure that nothing like this happens in 2008 or beyond.
Right. Okay. Moving towards a very different topic. Over the past few years, we've seen the Muslim Alliance of Indiana working with the governor's office and working with different representatives and increasing and encouraging political involvement and even political activism within the Muslim community of the state of Indiana. What is your view of this emerging dynamic of the Muslim community?
Well, I think it's important. I think that all communities that are distinct in many ways, which certainly the Muslim community is distinct in Indiana, should make sure that their voices are heard. I think that's critical, that their voices be heard within the political system. And I think it's particularly important at this time because we all know that there is, since 9/11, there have been tensions which have been at times higher and at times lower, but unquestionably there's been a level of tension since 9/11 within the Muslim community, between the Muslim community and the non-Muslim population of Indiana, and then back the other way. So there has been, there's a need for greater dialogue. I think we all felt this immediately after the terrorist attacks of September 11th, that, in fact, I spoke up at that time about how critical it was that we as the people of Indianapolis and the people of Indiana not look at this as an entire faith, an entire community committing these acts, but rather extremists who were denounced broadly, of course, across the Muslim world for what they had done. And so I think we had a spike in tension immediately after 9/11. Right. I think there was a significant amount of increased dialogue after that, which really was wonderful. It was perhaps the best of times in many ways, because there was a very positive dialogue that went on and a real effort to reach out and to understand from the Muslim and the non-Muslim communities. But I think time has passed, and I think with the ongoing struggle in Iraq, the continuing war in Iraq, the continuing war in Afghanistan, the heightened tensions with Iran, and other issues around the world, I believe that tension level is rising again, and I think the need for dialogue is stronger than ever right now.
Okay. And I guess taking it from there, on Tuesday, which was the day before yesterday, September 25th, the governor hosted the 3rd annual iftar at the State House, which was arranged by the Muslim Alliance of Indiana. Do you, in your office, do you have similar plans of initiating events which would bring the Muslim community closer to you as the mayor? And
yes, and in fact, we had done that for a while, as I said, back in the earlier days of my administration, and those things have lapsed a little bit, and I felt an absence of that, and so I am anxious to do that. Markeisha and I have had a number of conversations about this. Right. I had a meeting with Muslim leaders about a year ago where we talked about the need for greater cooperation. I think it increased the dialogue level with our office to a much higher degree. I mean, we've been communicating regularly, so when issues come up, we know who to talk to. Right. Those in the community know how to get a hold of me, and we have a way of communicating quickly to talk about issues that might become problems. Okay. Having said that, I think we need more ongoing, regular interaction and dialogue, and so we're working on doing that. I'm going to be, just as a symbolic example, but I think an important one, I'll be attending a fast breaking for during Ramadan, and looking forward to that. That's scheduled for next week, maybe.
I see.
5th, yeah.
And this would be at the Plainfield Mosque, is it?
No, I think we're going to be at the Cold Spring Road.
Okay, I see, right.
I believe so. Is that
Sponsored
correct?
by-
Might be,
Yes.
yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, wonderful. Well, it would be a pleasure to have you there as well. Finally, moving towards your re-election campaign, if you go on your website, you can definitely see the vibrance there. You're getting ready. What is your mandate really for 2008? Now, what's next that Bart Peterson is bringing to the people of Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think the number one issue that I'm excited about over the course of the next 4 years, obviously, let me back up a little bit. Clearly, the property tax situation is a make or break thing to be resolved for Indianapolis and for Marion County. That's number one. But my hope is that will not be the dominant issue over the next 4 years, that we will get both immediate relief and long-term reform. So that is my number one focus. But beyond that, I'm very focused on the high school dropout rate and continuing the success we've had in education reform, but really taking it to the next level, because it's critical that we have a laser-like focus on the high school dropout rate. It has such an impact on poverty, on the social ills that come with poverty, on crime, on the whole range of what we might call human service needs. They're all impacted by whether somebody completes high school, and of course then whether they go on to higher education. But the percentage of kids who do not graduate from high school is too high in Indianapolis, as it is in all big cities. But I think we have a leg up because of the reforms we've done with charter schools,
Yes.
because of an organization we have called the Mind Trust that works very hard on education reform in conjunction with city government. I believe that we're going to make progress that is going to be dramatic over the next 4 years, and that's my number one issue.
Right.
Winning the battle against crime, the war against crime, is critical to me as well, and we now have the resources in place to be able to effectively fight that battle, and we're starting to make progress. And I'm very excited about what we can do both in terms of crime prevention and also greater enforcement and having more police officers on the street, more jail beds to put the bad people so they stay where they belong. And so I'm very encouraged by our war against crime, and I now think we have the tools to fight that more effectively. The Ginny program, Great Indy Neighborhoods, which I mentioned earlier, is just now getting off the ground after a couple of years of planning and fundraising, and I am so excited about that. I think we're going to see challenged neighborhoods across Indianapolis really transformed. I'm excited about working on our Indy Green print. We have the opportunity to serve in the city government as the example for the entire community, for businesses, for organizations, and for individuals, on how we can reduce our dependence upon foreign oil and how we can promote environmental conservation. We're a $1 billion a year enterprise, city and county government. We have a lot of buildings, we have a lot of vehicles, we have a lot of lights around the city that we're responsible. We can do so much more, and we want to lead the way on that. And then finally, bringing more jobs of the 21st century to Indianapolis. We have as low an unemployment rate as I can remember right now. We've done, I think, a very good job of helping to continue the diversification of our economy, the strengthening of our economy, creating jobs that are really good, high-paying jobs, jobs that will be around 10 years from now, that won't move out of the country. And I want to continue that effort and keep my nose to the grindstone. So those are the elements of my plan for the next 4 years.
Okay, all right. Wonderful, and that brings us to the end of this interview. It's really, once again, it was wonderful talking to you. And I
thank
hope that
you. I enjoyed speaking with you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, maybe we can do this from time to time. I would enjoy
Exactly.
that, and I'm looking forward to an increased dialogue.
Right, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was our interview with Mayor Bart Peterson of Indianapolis. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more upcoming interviews.